Now, these carrots here are absolutely phenomenally delicious. And in this environment here, everything is sweet. There is no bitterness to any of the fruit for some reason. The kales are sweet, everything is sweet. And we have picked the plants that we really like. That's an evolutionary thing. We made the decision. And we found the plants that will grow in the worst climates on earth. And we know which ones they are. And we really like the Indian red giant and Russian kales because they have the greatest extreme variance and the greatest natural genetic resistance to everything. And so we we're sort of the last, you may like some other plants, but everybody that comes in here, they go crazy. And they'll just sit here and they'll just graze and munch. People just sit, they've never tasted, kids come in and they didn't realize that vegetables tasted so delicious. And another thing is that with all the oxygen that's created in here, see all the carbon dioxide and stuff, when you open that door, it comes into the plants. And so we're recycling all that. And the people have found out that you can be in here, well, when the temperature's not super hot, you got 3 or 4 or 5 hours, that they've never smelt, they never breathed pure oxygen before. And they'll just come in here and they'll stay in here as long as they can. Because you can have a storm, you can have somebody burning chemicals outside, but this whole thing is sealed top and bottom. And so nothing gets in here. You can have a great fire going outside and the air is clean and fresh. People that have, some kind of breathing problems, they just go crazy in here. They'll just sit in here for hours and read. And we got this, I like to come in the middle of winter time because, this is like Costa Rica or Panama. And you can see right here we got the lawn chair. And we put that out there and I'll read, play my musical instrument, or Paul will be in here reading. There'll be a foot of snow out there. It'll be 70, 80 degrees in here. And we look up here, these gadgets, we tried 3 or 4 of them. That just collects the dew and rainwater. We went 7 years without rainwater. And that, on the plants. And so, we didn't need the rainwater, we just needed the dew. And it runs down here and you just take a little shower. You see that? And then we decided to put this extra tank in down here just in case we went over 7 or 8 years without any dew. We could go a little longer. But almost everybody it rains at least once every 7 years, and we've never used that at all. It's still been sitting there. And then when we're gone for months on end, I put these little tubes in here for any rainwater. Well, we found out that we just need a tiny bit because the humidity in here is such that the plants are watered by the humidity also. And so this thing goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. And you don't even have to be here. It's like the house. It will maintain its temperature for you if you wanted to come back after 3 or 4 months of vacation. It does everything for you. This will provide your food, your fresh water, a place from Montana and wherever you're at, and it's terrible winter, and you want to garden all year. Well, you come in here and you can put anything you want in here. It's like flowers, if you like any kind of vegetables. You just keep going. This eliminates the need for going to transporting vegetables, and we're overseas working with the chemicals that are used on these vegetables. And let me tell you, we have parents that come in here with their kids and they say, my God, this is wonderful, because now we don't have to worry about salmonella or E. coli or all the problems with organic phosphates and pesticides and stuff like that, and the herbicides and fungicides. And so we had some kids in here the other day and they didn't want to leave. We're junior high kids, and you can imagine a junior high kid coming in here, and boy, they really love this Indian red giant, and they love the herbs that are so delicious, and the onions. So you don't even have to worry about going to the store no more for vegetables. So you don't even have to worry about going to the tropics, Panama or Costa Rica, in the middle of the winter time. This is a 365-day-a-year garden. Now, folks, that's not the only garden you have. You see, we've got almost a whole garden right here, and Paul is going to show you. We've got 8, 10, 15 varieties of seeds we use for sprouts. And a sprout from the seed will have 30 to 50 times more food value than the full-grown vegetables. And Paul will show you how we water this. It only takes about a couple tablespoons of water twice a day. You don't have to do a lot of washing. And she'll just spray them, and they're sort of on a slant. And so all the water will go down. She'll do each one. And you do that twice a day. And then when you're done with the water, it'll all drip down to the bottom. And it's on side kind of a little slant. And then in order to keep it from smelling, you merely take the bottom container that catches it and dump it out and just put a little bit of soap on it and leave it on. And that'll keep everything from from smelling. Folks, since this is nothing but a big laboratory experiment, we found out with just one the original fiberglass sheeting let heat in. And so what we did is we put another used patio glass door to create a 6-inch space, and then we drilled a hole underneath the house. And in the summertime we just open that up, put a screen on from under the house. In the wintertime we close it up, and then that sucks all the cold air from the bottom of the house, and it sucks it up right here into this manifold system, and it takes it all the way over here, and then it goes out the vent for the compost toilet. So we call this a manifold window. It'd be 140 in there, but the outside would be 65, 70 right where we're at. Added vent. While you're sitting on there like Paula was doing and taking the heat right out of your body, you'll see that little vent there? Well, that goes underneath the house, and it's got a little screen on it so no insects will come in. And that thing just will blast you with the 65, 70 degree cool air, or even cooler, underneath the house. So while you're sitting on that, you're getting blasted with real cold air from underneath the house. It's a fan. It's a fan. And it's one little heliocentric thing, doesn't draw anything. Now this is the real nerve center of the whole house. Well, Paula gives, or has given, to about 70 charities around the world. And she's the ultimate source on which charities are what and what to give. And right now we're going to ask her what type of charity she's giving to.
Okay, the 70 charities has been over a period of time, and some of them I drop and some of them I continue with. The ones right now that I'm mostly interested in are humanitarian efforts to help people in various parts of the world where there are disasters going on, or refugees that are in dire straits. The other thing is anti-hate groups, promoting anti-hate groups and pro-tolerance groups. And then there's one that fights for the environment, that fights the use of pesticides, and another one called East Meets West that helps out in Vietnam and helps to provide help with infrastructure, and also that helps with doing operations for children, especially open heart surgery. What?
Oh, and we also give to Heifer.
Oh,
that takes care of,
around Christmas time, around holiday times, what we end up doing, instead of giving gifts to ourselves, we also donate to Heifer, which is an organization that comes out of Arkansas, and instead of buying gifts for each other, we buy a goat or whatever that will help to help a village out someplace in various parts of the world. It's a very, very good organization.
Now, as you probably figured it out, folks, we read like you wouldn't believe it's possible. We read literature, the best literature, not just from here, but from all over the world. And Paula will read an immense amount of literature, and so we each have our favorites, but after she finds something that's really good, well, I'll read it. But I also have kind of my favorites also. And since we're in South America so much, I kind of really fell in love with all the Spanish literature, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Isabel Allende, Borges, Fuentes. And since I kind of have an aversion to reading translations, and Spanish is so much fun to read, I'll read everything in the original language, Cervantes or Cien Años or Amor en el Tiempo de Cólera, or even Coelho's works. But here's a cute one right here that everybody, you should learn the language just to read this little book. This is by, let me see if I can hone in on that. That's by Joaquin Gutierrez. That's Cocori. And it's more than a kid's book. And if you really want to see what great literature is like, it's worth your while to read it in its original language. Okay, there's the kid and his wife. He's also a micromolecular biologist, seems to run the family. And that's his wife is a Vietnamese micromolecular biologist. Man, they are just absolutely wonderful, wonderful people. And yeah, and so they're doing research, cellular research, and genetic research. And I always tell him, you're a greater man than I, Gunga Din. And he's done research with me all over the world, and shark research, swimming up jungle rivers and everything. A wonderful kid. This is the other bedroom, where if you have kids, they can sleep here. But right now, this is our spare bedroom, the guest bedroom. And if you're ever up here, this is where you'd stay. But you can see I use it for my kind of like a music studio. And I've got 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 sheets of music from all over the world. And wherever I'm at, I'll just pick the music up and go into old archives and go through a couple hundred old Spanish songs or something. And I'll find some really neat ones that, that long, long ago musicians nobody's heard of. And boy, I'll just play their song, and it's just a beautiful thing. But I also have my own personal preferences. I look for any country, I look for all the humorous books they have, and some of them are really high quality. And you can see that's Condorito, that's by Pipon, it comes out of Colombia, and it's just a wonderful family he's really great. And besides that, I always like most of the Spanish people, everybody, reads Cantinflas, Mario Moreno, and that's sort of my level of, my rejuvenation. And I'll play some songs, and what I like to do is I'll take classical music, Tchaikovsky or whoever, and I like to take and convert it to country, or I'll convert it to classical, or I'll take and convert it to blues or jazz or whatever, a country to classical. It's just a lot of fun. It's what sort of recharges your battery.